Hello, my name is Manny Caulk, your Fayette County Public Schools Servant Superintendent, and this is another episode of Talks with Caulk, a weekly video program designed to provide timely and accurate information about the current topics on the minds of our employees, students, families, and the community at large. Now, as we work towards the ultimate goal of returning students and staff safely to the classroom, we have sought feedback from our stakeholders in order to help guide our decisions. In October, we asked families whether they would prefer to send their children to school in person under a hybrid learning model or have their children learn remotely. The survey responses, including the additional comments provided by families, provide a look into the complex feelings associated with each educational model. Here to help us unpack and take a closer look at these survey results is district spokeswoman Lisa Defendahl, who has spent a great deal of time reviewing and analyzing the survey results. Lisa, thanks for being here. Can you start by sharing the overall results of the survey?
We have 41,226 students in our school district, and we asked each of their families to choose between remote or in-person learning. Of those families who responded, about 22,000 families selected in-person learning, and another 8,200 families selected remote learning. We did not receive a response for 10,920 students.
So that means 53.5% of families chose in-person learning and 20% selected remote learning?
Yes, sir, and we did not hear from 26% of our families.
So where did the 80% figure come from? Can you explain?
As we looked at the possible implementation of a hybrid plan, where some students would learn at home and two groups of students would rotate between 2 days of in-person learning and 3 days of remote learning, we had to assign all of our students to one cohort for our planning purposes. In order to plan for the maximum number of students on campus, we assigned the roughly 11,000 students without a response to the hybrid option. Once we added those students into our model for planning purposes, we had about 82% of our students on campus.
Now, families were also invited to provide additional feedback at the conclusion of the survey. What did those comments reveal?
The comments really illustrate how complex a decision this is for our families across the district. We received written comments from 9,072 families, and one of the most common sentiments from both those who chose hybrid and those who selected remote was that they wished the survey had given them a third option to stay with non-traditional instruction, differentiated distance learning, which we call NTI 2DL.
And I received a lot of positive feedback from internal and external stakeholders alike from our families about NTI 2DL.
That was certainly clear on the survey comments. Among those who selected the hybrid option, there were some who spoke strongly in favor of returning to in-person instruction. But there were many who indicated that they had selected hybrid for their children because they want their children to return to campus, but not yet. In fact, about 13% of the comments from those who selected hybrid and 27% of the comments from those who selected remote asked us to wait until January to make a schedule change.
Now, did the survey reveal why that was the case?
Many of the comments suggested that heading into the holidays, there would be an increased risk of the virus spreading. And a lot of the comments from families focused on providing consistency for their children. About 1 in 5 comments were requesting specific days of remote or in-person instruction or methods of transportation in order to maintain arrangements that families had already made. Another common theme was from those who would prefer in-person learning 4 or 5 days a week.
And that's definitely in line with our decision to return to in-person learning 5 days a week starting on January 7th. Any other takeaways from the survey?
Well, one of the things that we told families on the survey was that either choice for remote or in-person learning could result in a change of schedule or a change of teacher. And one of the most common themes we heard from families on the survey was that they wanted to select whatever instructional model let their child stay with their teacher.
Now, that's a testament to the strong relationship our teachers have built with their students, even while we've been learning virtually this semester. I've been so impressed with the creative ways our schools have found to maintain connections, even while we've been socially distant. In fact, we're filming this week's show right here at Brenda Cowan Elementary School on a set of a virtual musical they've been working on since August. Their arts team conducted virtual auditions and practices, then each student filmed their individual parts one at a time, and they wove everything together into an amazing show called The Illuminate. And on that note, I'd like to thank Lisa for helping us shine a light on some of the themes that came from the comments our family shared on our recent surveys. And it's clear to me that these responses are more complex than an either-or choice. Our entire Fayette County Public School team is committed to listening to students, families, and community members as we work toward a safe return to in-person learning. Our targeted services, which we implemented last week, have been a wonderful first step in our efforts to bring students back into the campus safely. Last week, we served 1,738 students at 40 schools, and this week we expanded to 63 schools and special programs, serving over 3,000 students. We will continue to expand our reach in the coming weeks. If your family chooses to participate in Halloween, I encourage you to follow all the safety protocols to ensure safe trick-or-treating. And then remember to set your clocks back an hour before you go to bed for the start of daylight savings. Now, whatever your political leanings, I encourage you to make your voice heard and cast your ballot before the polls close on Tuesday, November 3rd. I look forward to connecting with you during the next Talks with Caulk. And remember, we are better together.